Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, it's Andy from Big Mac's Workshop. Doing another Fire Raptor video. We're going to keep it short because this is more about the colours and the colour choices than about the paintwork itself, as you've recently had a Fire Raptor. Now, I did this one a couple of times as the customer wasn't totally sure what colours he wanted, but as always we start off with a pre-highlighted black base coat just to give us something to work with, allows us to get that extra colour depth. I did try using a cardboard cut out to block the highlights in, but it didn't really work for me. I sort of preferred the more freehand style. So on the first coat here is an Administratum grey, which had a bit of a yellowy tint to it. And as you know, Space Wolves are more of a blue-grey colour, even the more classic Space Wolves. I thought, and that's what we were going for initially. So here we are with a fully painted fuselage, starting to add some highlights in with Dawnstone and also Wolf Grey. Sorry, no, not Wolf Grey, Cold Grey. Cold Grey had a bit of a brown tint to it. You can't really see it on the lighting, but under strong lighting it actually looked very bone coloured. In hindsight, it wasn't what the customer was after, but it gave us an interesting colour spectrum to work with for maybe future jobs. As you can see here, I'm just adding some extra lighting to the upper reaches of the engine section, and I'm just using very thin layers of cold grey, which, as I've just said, is very much a brown grey. Now I'm going straight over the top now with the Fang by GW, and you get a slight, because I've gone over a slightly grey colour, it does come out a slightly more grey side of the Fang colour rather than the straight up blue. It's a bit more filtered towards the grey spectrum, which turns out is what the customer wanted. And we went ahead getting the base colours down, but not wanting to go too high. He was very insistent that he wanted a more darker, gritty scheme. The highlights was done with thin layers of rust grey, with edge highlights using Fenrisian. Obviously these are the standard colours, what you would normally expect a Space Wolf scheme to be, but I use them with a lot more of a sparing attitude. I try to keep the dark blue-grey more prominent than what you would normally get with a Space Wolf colour scheme, which is more of a baby blue sort of grey colour. So here we are, just adding some more rust grey highlights towards the front end of the Raptor itself. I have to admit, I do like the Raptor kit, although it is a pig to put together. It's very difficult to get it to look right at the front end without extensive green stuff work. But it is a very pretty model when it's all built. And anyone who's looked at the books has probably already realised that they are pretty damn potent now in the game, more so than they were in 7th edition. So using the Vallejo liquid metals for all the metal work, silver for weaponry and some of the piping. I use this, it's just such a smooth colour, it goes on so nicely. Just don't let the thinners you go anywhere near your mouth, because that'll make you sick real bad. And on the wing sections, the Aquillas, and some of the other pipework I used Vallejo's liquid metal copper colour for the same reason. It's a really bright, nice looking colour. What paints really smoothly. It's just such a joy to work with at times, but it just makes life so much easier. And I continue this copper colour onto the engines, both front and back, just to make them look a bit more bright and a bit more interesting to the eye. Also, as adding these metallics into various areas of the vehicles makes the model look a lot more interesting. It breaks up massive blocks of colour. So once all the metalwork had dried, a couple of good coats of non-oil. Didn't thin it at all, just a couple of nice good coats. It really brings out the detail work. It really works well with the liquid metals, but you do need to get plenty on there. There I am edge highlighting with Fenrisian Grey, which I believe is the lightest of the Space Wolf tricolour. Just going around all the edges, just make all them hot spots really pop when you get a good look at it. Now, as you can tell, I'm using the wherever possible. I try to use the edge, the side of a brush rather than the point. It just makes it a bit neater when you can use the side. It gives you a bit more control over the highlights. The ball turrets, as you can see, were done in yellow. They were based with black, just the same as the rest of the vessel. And the colour I'm putting on now is Filthy Brown, which is a Vallejo colour. With a couple of coats of that goes over the black, lovely. And also, if you put a undercoat of dark rust or something, it really stands out, and it works really nicely for any kind of yellow colour scheme, which I'm hopefully going to be doing something along the lines a bit later on. Now, I've also taped off certain areas just to break up the flat blue on the vehicle, using the same Filthy Brown colour, just straight over the top of the blue, just to make the thing look a lot more interesting. Space Wolves use either red or yellow as their secondary colours. For this we chose yellow. Red would have worked equally well, but we're still throwing a bit of red in at the end just to add some extra detail work. So here I am, I'm putting some shading into the yellow sections using burnt umber, which is an old favourite of ours. You can put burnt umber straight over the top of the Filthy Brown and it will make a really nice colour. Then once you've put the Filthy Brown down, go back over gently with the Filthy Brown over the top of the burnt umber, and you get a really nice faded blend, working for a very nice colour pattern. So I'm adding some red into the inlays of the wings. I do that across the entirety of the wing sections. And all that is for is just to break up the colour again a little bit more, before we put any finishing touches on. Just makes the thing look a little bit more interesting, a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And with that I was using gory red as the base. And there we are. After a few decals and a bit of stencil work, that's the final finished paint job. I hope you learned something from this video. I know it was only a quick one, but hopefully you'll keep on checking our videos out. Feel free to comment and criticise all you wish on the comments below. Thank you for your time for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.